And as he grew, he'd say, I'm gonna be like you, Dad. You know I'm gonna be like you. And the cat's in the cradle and the
What's going on, guys? It's a boss man here. And this is what, episode 4 of the JJ Boys Does Real Estate.
Episode number 4. I feel like we just started doing this stuff. We're just flying through it now.
Yeah, it is. It's getting cooler. We're adding a little bit to the set here and there. And
yeah, we got a cool little light action going on now.
Yeah.
You know, did a little bit with the lighting behind the scenes. Hopefully might look a little different. New mics. We're just
new mics.
We're just getting it locked in now.
All right. Well, today we are going to be getting into the little bit more nuts and bolts of it. We're going to go through a fix and flip with you guys.
Fix and flip. Now, this is a big one. This is what most people, when they think real estate investor, this is what people think of. They think about buying a house, put money into it, selling it for more. That is exactly what people think of when they think real estate investor, and it's one of probably the best ways you could do deals. It's the profit margins, especially with the more expensive houses you do, are big profit margins.
Oh yeah, the fix and flips, those require the most work, so those will get you the biggest profits.
Requires the most work, will get you the biggest profit, but also could get you the biggest negative profit if it goes wrong. And that's just something to know, you know. And going forward,
they are definitely tricky.
Going forward, you know, episode 4 now, we've talked about the ways to find the leads, the mindset you need. And hopefully, if you do go the negative, we know, because we taught you, just embrace the loss. You have to be able to learn from it and keep going forward. And we kind of talked about before how to find the leads. So now you got all these leads coming in. You got a good mindset on your shoulders. Now you're ready to start doing deals.
Remember, guys, I'm going to keep going back to that mindset, because even though we're to this point, you're constantly going to be getting doubt in your brain.
Constantly.
Yes, you got to fight through that doubt.
Yeah.
You got to do it, man. You just do it.
You just got to go for it. And
what's the worst case scenario that happens? You got to stay with your JOB. Give me a break.
So to get into it, let's start with the fix and flip. So we talked about before. Now we got all these leads. You did all the good marketing strategies we taught you. You got all these leads, and you think these ones could be some deals. Well, how do you know which one of the leads are good fix and flip deals?
Well, usually you got to start out. When the leads start coming in, you're going to evaluate the areas where the leads are at. You want to focus your fix and flips where, you know, people want to live, you know, areas that people are actually saving up money to buy a house for a down payment.
Yep.
You know, you don't want them, like, there's not many people that's saving money in the war zones or, you know, the hood to buy a house.
You want the first time home buyer area.
First time home buyer.
Or like that family home that someone can move into. Like that is the area you're looking for. And you want to do comps. You got to figure out what the houses are selling for around the house you want to buy.
You got to really, really know that area, you know, like Springfield area, the Ellet area. And we're going to be going a lot over, you know, this Ellet area, because we actually just closed on one on Friday in the Ellet area. And it's going to be unique. We're going to take you guys step by step.
Yeah. And so when it comes to doing your own comps, you just gotta, if you know houses are selling for $180,000 in this area, that was the most a certain house sold for. It's 3-bedroom, 2-bath. That house sold for $180,000. If you have a house that is kind of similar to that, also 3-bedroom, 2-bath, it'll probably sell close for the same amount of money, or that's what you could probably put it out there for, is for trying to get, because there's houses similar to that sold for that.
Yeah, these are pretty much called, you know, cookie cutter areas where you're not like, you know, there's one house over here for $80,000, and then a couple houses down, there's one for $220,000, and then one, you know, it's all over the place. You know, that's when you're really going to have to, you know, dig into it to see what the place is worth. But in like these, like in Ellen over there, we know that the neighbors just sold for $140,000, and that was years ago. We know the other neighbor just sold for $160,000, and it needed some repair. So in the high end is in the 190s. So we're going to be right around after we fix this thing, 190.
Yeah. And having a deep understanding of the area and having a deep understanding of the market at the time too, that's important to know, helps you get into the next thing I want to talk about, the fix and flip formula. This is a huge deal here, because this formula, you could put, let's say you have a house, you have a lead, and you think you could do a fix and flip for it. If you run the numbers through the formula, you know whether or not it is going to be a successful deal or not.
Oh yeah, the formula is huge. I mean, you could pump out offers just by plugging into this formula.
Yeah, if you have, let's say you have all these leads coming in, you got 5 houses that fit the formula, just you're able to throw the offers out there. Let's say you only get 1 or 2 of them, but bam, you got 1 or 2 potential deals right there. And it's so I want to kind of go over the formula, because this is huge. For the people watching it, I would consider potentially writing this down. I think we might do a little something with it, maybe a little later too.
Yeah, we'll be able to edit like a sheet in.
Yeah, potentially. We'll see what we can work with. We're getting all this new high tech stuff. I don't know if we're quite high tech there yet.
All right, you're right. Well, let's. Do you want? What should we do? Just start at the top.
Start at the top.
So this formula,
let's, instead of starting at the top and going down, start how you would do it.
Well, how I would do it, say I'm going to keep referring back to the one that we just bought, this Ellet area over here. You got to stay up on your areas. You got to keep constantly researching, looking at what's sold. You got to know your areas that you want to do this in. So this area over here, I know that if the house is in good shape and it looks good, it looks pretty, we're going to get 185 to 195 for this house.
So what part of the equation would that be?
That is your maximum retail value of that house is, we'll go on the low end, we'll say 180.
So you can have the maximizing retail value 180. So then what's the next step?
180,000. Then you have to start putting in your deductions. So your purchase price, what you think you could buy it for,
Well, this equation is kind of used to figure out what you do buy it for, right? Correct?
Well, correct. I'm calculating some things to know exactly what you could offer for this house.
So let's go. So the maximizing retail value is 180. 180. What would be the rehab cost of that?
The rehab cost, you have to know just by going into a house. Okay, I'm familiar with these areas. We got a kitchen here, we got a bath, we got, the outside needs some work. You kind of have to familiarize yourself with that, or you're going to want to start working with some contractors. If you don't know any contractors, you're going to want to start calling some to get ideas. But, the costs here recently, they've gone up. I used to be able to pump out kitchens, pump out bathrooms. I would be able to just plug in, I could do a kitchen for $3,000 to $5,000. I mean, that's a no-brainer. So I just look at the kitchen. Okay, $3,000 to $5,000. I would go to Home Depot or Lowe's. They had the computer the computer thing. You just give them the dimensions. They give you the boxes. It was so easy. But now it is getting a little tougher to figure out these costs since this inflation. Like for instance, when we rehabbed the place where we're staying now, I timed the lumber crisis perfectly. I was paying $7 for one 2x4. Are you kidding me? You couldn't have timed it any better. But since then, the lumber has definitely gone down.
So what would you say? So since we're kind of using this one that we're doing in Ellet, what's like? So we figured out the maximum retail value was 180. So what's the rehab cost for that?
So the rehab cost, I have plugged in about $45,000.
Okay, so first of all, you're going to be spending 45. That's the first cost. Then you need to calculate what your holding cost will be. And this kind of could be not fully up in the air, but it's not 100% known ahead of time because you don't know how long you'll hold on to the house for, correct?
Well, if you hold on to it, I shoot my rehabs I want them on the market in 90 days. I do. there's a couple reasons for that. FHA has a law out there now to where if you buy a place, you have to hold it for 90 days. So
Yeah, and that's
that
deal sucks.
Yeah, that deal does suck. So I shoot to have them on the market in 90 days. If I have them more than 6 months, there's something going wrong, especially if the rehab's not done in 6 months. You're slacking on something. You better sharpen that pencil and get to work.
So
Or
what?
it's a plan to lose money.
So we're kind of just plugging in numbers. What number did you plug in kind of for like your prediction for the holding cost?
For the holding cost, so the holding cost is the
Wait,
time
first, yeah,
between. Let me explain to you what it
Yeah.
is. So it's from the time you actually buy it. So you own it, the deed is recorded till the time you sell it. So it's every cost that you have in there. So you have your utilities, your electric, your gas, you have property tax, figure out what that's going to cost. You have your interest on your loan if you have to get a loan. You have your insurance costs. So you got to factor all of your holding costs in for, you can factor it in there for 6 months.
All this stuff that is what a holding cost is. So once again, I'll ask, what kind of number did we put in there for?
I'm actually, it's still up in the air a little bit. We just closed on this thing.
Yeah.
We have about $7,000 in holding costs, and the taxes are pretty high up there. Insurance, I'm still waiting on a quote from that.
So we're at $7,000 right now.
Yeah, correct.
What do you think it'll be by the time it's sold? That's what
that's a worst case scenario. So that's going to be
$7,000 is.
Yeah, that's $7,000 is going to be the interest we're paying on the money. Everything across the board.
So now at this point, we figured out maximum retail value 180. The rehab costs 45. Your holding costs prediction to be around 7 right now. And so the next one would be the sales cost.
Correct. All right.
So what does the sales cost consist of?
The sales cost, a lot of you guys out there will think, we could sell it ourselves or whatever. But I mean, I always sell with realtors. I mean, it opens it up to just so many more people.
And the more people you have wanting to buy a house, the higher the price.
Correct. And we've had a market here recently to where if you list it, properly to where it's like, just a little bit on the low side, you're getting in a bidding war.
And that's some simple supply and demand for you. When demand's lower when demand's high and the supply is lower, guess what? People are it's gonna drive the price up when all these people are trying to get this.
The last deal you did on your own, I stepped you through it, but guess what? They bid $10,000 over what we had it listed for.
And it's just
I'm like, are you kidding me? How lucky can you get for your first deal?
No one can describe the feeling of that either. It's just like you're just looking at it, you're like,
I'm like, you're not going to believe this.
Well, shoot, that's
a no-brainer. Okay.
Better than we even thought. Yeah. So the sales cost. That kind of is like the realtor fee.
Yes, it's the realtor fee. It could be an auction fee if you decide to go that route, but I've been working with the same realtor for a long time. It's Billy Denholm. You're out there. Him and I, we talk at least once a day. You can negotiate with your realtor. We pretty much have it to where the first $100,000 is 6%, and then anything over and above the 100 is 4%.
Yeah.
So
then that would be your sales cost.
Correct.
Right? That's what you're paying the realtor. So how much do you think that will be for? Well, you could actually know that. If you know that you'll sell it for 180, you could figure that out.
So it's approximately $10,000.
Yeah, it's about $10,000-ish. And so Bill Denholm, I would strongly recommend to use Bill Denholm. I've known Bill since I was way little. He's always been there doing stuff,
Yeah, Bill and I, we've actually we've done quite a bit of deals together, and the good thing about Bill is he's a contractor also, so he grew up, he knows all about. One time he talked me in to. I try to stay away from these foundation issues. He's like, "Oh, we got this, man, we got this." So we bought this house. I go over there, and he has the whole entire house on these stilts. I'm like, I mean, the house is literally, we had to replace the whole entire basement wall.
That's
and it was
crazy.
on stilts.
That's
I've never
crazy.
seen one like that, but yeah, we ended up doing it. And yeah, it worked out pretty well. Like he knew the guys to come in to do that work, and it worked out pretty well.
So if you're a viewer and you're thinking you need a realtor if you, let's say you start doing some properties yourself, you're investing, selling, whatever.
Yeah, Billy Denholm
Bill
right
Denholm.
here. Yeah, check out the number here. They said that they would edit it in, and yeah,
Ooh.
yeah. Call up Billy Denholm. He will.
Yeah.
He knows how to identify. I've been working with him forever. So listen, I've had him in training. Listen, he knows exactly what to look for. He's not going to call me with any stupid properties.
Okay. So now back to the equation. We had the max. So now I would recommend I think we'll go over this once again real quick if you want to write it down or save writing it down till later, because I would strongly recommend to know this. But now we had the maximum retail value at 180, the rehab cost at 45, the holding cost at $7,000, and now the sales cost is about $10,000. So if you add 45 plus 7 plus 10, you're going to be at about 62. So your cost right now guaranteed is $62,000. And so now let's get to the next part, the contingent factor. This is the miscellaneous category.
Yeah, this is oh man, that hurt.
I didn't see this one.
Yeah. So when Billy Denholm talks me into like putting a house on stilts, yeah, you better have a contingency factor in there. I mean,
yeah,
that's your oops factor. If something happened. Yeah, I love having this contingency factor plugged in, especially when I'm dealing with wells and septics. You have to have. You don't know. You can't test the stuff out.
Yeah, and so worst case scenario, maybe the stuff's a little more than your contingency factor and your profit goes down a very minor amount, but it's not really because you already had it factored into your equation.
Factored it in.
Well, let's say it goes straight to your contingency factor, so then the numbers still work out perfectly. Or let's say best case scenario, there isn't no, and then that money just gets added back to the profit.
That goes right on your profit. So, yeah, in this scenario, like, when you're doing these cookie cutter houses, I mean, and you know the area, there's no well, no septic, it's just basic. So you don't really need a huge contingency factor in there because it's a cookie cutter deal.
So like for this one, you think the maximum price will be like 180 you could sell it for. So what would be your contingent?
This house is just a cookie cutter deal. So, I'm going to factor in $5,000.
I think no matter what kind of house you're dealing with, you always want to have $5,000.
At least $5,000.
Now, once you start getting into the higher level houses, would you increase that number? So let's say you're dealing with like a $300,000 house. Was that number going up?
Well, it's definitely, it's going to be plugged in there, especially like I said, if it has something weird, the well and septic is not, necessarily weird, but there's all kinds of problems, that could arise from it. And with these new laws now, you got to stay up on it. You just can't repair this stuff. You have to replace it. And
that deal sucks.
Yeah.
That deal
sucks. So you're
sucks.
replacing it. So if you have a problem all the way out in your leach bed, they're wanting to replace the whole entire thing all the way back to the house.
Yeah. So for the most part, you always want to have $5,000 put in there. Maybe the higher level of houses, you want to put that number a little higher because, of course, once you start dealing with higher level houses, higher end houses, all the numbers are just going to go up everywhere. But now you got the $5,000 there. So now rehab cost 45, holding cost $7,000. So now you're at 52. Sales cost $10,000. You're at 62. Contingency factor, you're at a cost of 62,000. And you could sell it for 180. So now you would do 180 minus that 62, and what would that be?
Listen,
that'd be 118.
Okay, 118. And how much? You're forgetting a big factor. You need this factor in there.
You need to buy the house.
No, you need to factor in. You need to know how much you're going to make.
Well, yeah. So
factor in that profit.
This is why so people might be confused. I'm saying the cost is, what did I say, 62?
Yes.
I'm saying the cost is 62, but we haven't even talked about the cost of buying the house. And that's because the cost of buying the house and how much money you're making are directly connected. We went through this entire formula because this is going to tell you how much you're going to pay for the house to guarantee how much money you're going to make. That makes sense.
To make the offer.
Yeah. So then we went through this. So that means the total cost without buying it is 62, and the maximum retail value is 180. So what would be your next step after that for figuring?
So the next step is I usually factor in. I like to make 30% on like an investment. If I'm going into an investment and I can calculate I'm making 30%, yeah, I'm going to do it. A lot of times it's, if it's a lot more than that, that's great. If it's, less than that, when it happens.
It's just, you got to deal with it.
Yeah, it happens.
You want to shoot
we
want to
shoot for 30%.
Always shoot
profit.
for 30. And if it goes higher, hooray. If it goes lower, if it goes negative,
yeah,
you got to learn from it.
So 30% profit, just round it up to 200,000, that'd be 60 grand. So what's 30% of say 180?
So 30% of one. We got to get a little calculator.
Yeah. So 30% of 180.
I'm thinking it's going to be 60 is what I think it is. I'm not 100% sure though. Got to pull up the calculator app. Wherever your yeah, there it is. So we're saying 30%
of the maximum
of 180,000, which is what you think you could sell it for, is 54,000.
54,000. So that's the profit we should make on this, and it's going to fluctuate. It is going to fluctuate.
So how much are you buying the house for, though?
So plug in the 54, and then bring them all back. I mean, for the property that we're talking about now in Ellett, we paid 50 grand for it.
Yeah.
And it's going to sell for the 180.
So basically, if you really want to, you could somewhat kind of start with the maximizing retail value times 0.3 to figure out how much you could theoretically make. But I personally, I don't like to start with that. I like to figure out all the costs first. But to figure out all the costs, wait, what do I do again?
So plug in 180. Let's just do it for simple terms.
180,000.
180,000
retail value.
Yeah. So subtract the rehab cost,
which we came
what
to
would we say
45.
45,000. Subtract 7 for the holding cost. Subtract 10 for the sales cost. Subtract 5 for the contingency, and then subtract 50 for our profit.
Wait, was that what our I thought our profit was 50? Was it like 55?
Yeah, 50. You just round. Listen, when you were talking,
we're
not going to trip over the dimes to get to the dollars.
So then you minus 50.
Yeah, so our maximum purchase price on that
63 grand.
63 grand. Yes, and we actually bought this same scenario for 50. So we came in lower.
Yeah, and that's best case. That's a really good case scenario, because then what that means is your profit margin is just going to be higher. So once again,
you guys are probably sitting out there going, "How in the heck did they buy a house in $180,000 area for 50 grand?" It's
marketing, finding those deals. We talked about it.
Marketing, it's got to be ugly.
Yeah.
When you walk into the house,
this deal. So we talked about before with the finding deals is the harder the deal is to find and to get, the more money it's going to be.
Yeah,
this deal, it's been working out for a while.
I started this deal literally 9 months ago.
Yeah.
Yeah. This deal came across my desk and it's had all kinds of problems. The lady, she ended up filing bankruptcy. There was other liens on there. She inherited the house.
Yeah.
And it was
but the harder it is, look at that. You found a house in $180,000 area for 50 grand. Look at that. It's the numbers. It just works so well. So let's try and go through this one more time, just real quick.
Okay.
Hopefully people will be able to understand. So you take all the costs, the purchase cost, the rehab cost, the holding cost, sales cost. Once you figure out what that number is, you're going to do what again?
You are
I lose myself sometimes.
all right.
still.
So you're going to add up all those costs. You forgot a couple. We forgot the $5,000 contingency, and you forgot to plug in, a number for profit. I mean, on the deal like this too, I mean, you could plug in 40, you could plug in, I wouldn't go into this deal if I made less than 30.
Yeah.
So even though we're shooting for the 30%, I mean, to do a rehab deal and you make 30 grand on it is pretty good. So you could fluctuate, depending on the deal, you could fluctuate those costs, if you're close to being able to buy it, but it doesn't fit exactly in your number, you can fluctuate some of those numbers to get the deal signed and inked and ready to rehab.
So you have that $180,000 house again. You figure you times that by 0.30, your 30%. You figure out what exactly you want your profit to be. Then you take that profit, you add it with all the costs that we went over.
Correct.
The purchase cost. Well, we kind of skipped the purchase cost at first, but you take that, you add it to the rehab costs, holding costs, sales costs, contingent factor, and then you subtract that number that you get from the maximum retail value.
Maximum retail value that you could get for that house.
Then that number that you get, that is your purchase cost. That is the most amount of money you want to spend on purchasing the house.
Yes. And if you go above that, that's fine, but you're going to have to sharpen that pencil with the rehab if you want to keep your profit, or you're going to have to, you're not going to make as much.
So that equation is huge. If you can understand that you multiply, you want to make that 30%, you add up all that with all your costs and subtracting it from the maximum retail value to get the purchase cost, the max you want to buy the house for. I mean, it could be a little more, a little less. You would like it to be less, but if it's a little more, it's okay, especially if it looks like it could be a good deal. That is the formula. You could put as many houses as let's say you have a desk full of 20 leads. If you put all 20 of those houses through the formula, you could figure out the best fix and flips.
See, this is kind of crazy because I've never really sat and talked about this formula. Yeah. I have this formula on these blank sheets, and so I could go through all kinds of deals and see if there was a deal or not just by adding in the numbers, do the quick math, and boom, okay, this could be a good wholesale. This could, I've never really gone through. And
now we spent quite a bit of time on this. So let's move to the very next step. We have a lot to talk about with the fix and flips. We're just scratching the surface right now. You just now found the house that you think is a good deal.
So hopefully we didn't confuse you too much.
Now guess what? Yeah, hopefully you're not too confused. Hopefully you wrote some stuff down, play around with it. It took me forever to be able to understand. I didn't quite fully understand this until just now recently.
Well, you're learning. I'm
still learning.
Yeah, you're still learning.
I'm still learning, but I never even understood what we were talking about until recently. But now that I understand it, I'm able to get experience with it. I'm able to learn. And so, yeah, it's okay if you don't understand it, but just try and play around with it. Maybe try and find some houses out there. Just run some theoretical numbers, and hopefully you'll understand it a little more. But now that you found the deal, let's talk about actually buying the house. Because now you found, okay, we got 5 good deals here. They fit the formula, good comps. Now we actually got to buy it.
Yeah. All right. And, a lot of people, we were talking about this in an earlier episode too. If you find a good deal and you don't have any money, you'll find the money.
Yeah.
All right. Then I'm sure if you go out and find this deal, you're going to be like, well, damn, I still don't have the money. What do I do now? I mean,
So let's go over 2 things with it. We sent out on one of our previous podcasts, we talked about being able to deal with people, talk to people, get them to talk more, find the motivated people. All that stuff still applies, of course, because that is how you got the lead. You got the lead because these people are motivated, and that this could be a good deal, and they fit the formula, so it's a good fix and flip. So now I just want to go over the talking with the person, being able to get them to sell you the house. And let's say you don't got the money sitting around. You don't want to come out of pocket for all this stuff. Where do you get the money from?
Well, you could get it from a number of different ways. I've bought many, many houses on a credit card If you don't have a credit card and you have a deal like this and you're able to explain a deal like this to somebody that has money or is familiar with real estate, they're going to be like, man, you do have a good deal. How did you find this? Wow, that's okay. And you want to do this? It's kind of, like you're going to have a little business plan. This is actually how I started off in Colorado, and I ended up finding a handful of guys that was willing to give me money left and right.
So let's kind of go over the ways to get money. You have lenders.
You have lenders, yep. And talking about lenders, like right now, we've been using Rob the mortgage guy.
The mortgage guy.
Yeah. He's been just pumping them out. I mean, he has a program now to where you could buy the house and they give you the fix up money. It's a no-brainer. And it's a great deal.
Yes. And it'd be, once again, I would strongly recommend, especially for the people watching this that want to get into this stuff, I'd strongly recommend you use that because it's probably the easiest. You can't always find lenders out there. I mean, maybe you know some people with a lot of money to throw around, so you could get them to give you some money. And also, this might be an important time to bring up that this cost, you want to come out with as little out of your pocket as possible. You don't want to come a lot out of your pocket for this stuff. You could borrow, well, I don't know what the number was we came to, 113 for the total cost.
Yes.
You could borrow $113,000, have to pay 4 months of interest, but then sell the house, and then that interest rate just comes out of your profit.
Yeah, always try to borrow. Always try to borrow a little bit more than what you need. I mean, because it seems like you always need a little bit more, so always try to borrow a little bit more than you need.
Kind of with that formula again, the interest rate that you're paying to like whoever your lender is or who you're getting it from kind of is associated with the equation again. I don't like to fully put it in there because, well, number one, it's a big variable because you don't know how long you can hold on to the house for, meaning you don't know how long.
Well, the bank will tell you how long you're going to hold on to it. They're like, all right, we're going to give you a 6-month loan, and you better get it done in 6 months.
Yeah.
Usually they will give you 12 months.
But you can borrow
these kind of loans.
But okay, so let's go over everywhere you could borrow money from to be able to do this. So you want to borrow. So speaking with the $180,000 retail value house again in Outlet, you want to borrow the $113,000 at least to cover all the costs of it. Where can you get that money from?
You can get it from a number of different people. You can get it from Rob the mortgage guy.
Which
he's
what
got
we
all
would
kinds
recommend because he has a pro real estate investment.
Yeah,
guy.
and he's owned many houses in his day. So he knows you wouldn't have to try to educate him. Hey, he knows exactly what you're going to do.
He knows what you want to do.
He's like a cheat code when it comes to, you
yeah.
call the guy up, okay, I've done, 300 of these in the last, year.
Yeah, so he's really good to go through. You can work with banks. Banks are an interesting one because especially the bigger the bank, the worse they are to work with. Because they just got so much rules, regulations, all this that you don't want to work with the
unless you could pull lines of credit off of investments that you already have and just get a checkbook. That is very, very easy.
And that's a pretty deep concept. That's a deeper concept. Yeah. That a lot of people aren't really willing. They don't want to do that stuff when, especially you don't have to, because you got other lenders out there. You got Rob the mortgage guy. That are able to do it for so much better.
Family, friends. If you brought this kind of deal to me, to anyone, you're going to get the money. I mean, if you type in hard money loans online, you're going to get, many people with a deal like this.
So
you could even tell them you have no experience and they're going to loan you money.
So what do you think the best, what are the interest rates right now for the lenders and Rob's mortgage guy? What are they charging?
I really don't want to get into that one quite yet, because they're all different. It's the interest rate really doesn't matter, because if you could get a loan, it's a lot cheaper. If you come to me and you're like, Jeremy, I really want to do this deal. I don't have the money. I'm probably going to say, oh, okay, I'll do it with you. Let's split the deal. Listen, you did all the hard work. Yeah. Why should I have to split the deal, with you? Just because you have the money? I don't know. Listen, it's easier. I used to pay 12% interest. I'd pay 12%. I'd pay 18%. It's already, the money is already factored into your profit. So it doesn't matter. It's already in that formula. So just whatever it takes, to be able to get that money, just do it and factor it into your formula, and your profit's already factored in.
And people, they don't like the concept of thinking about, I don't have a lot of money to my name. I only got, what if you, I only got 10 grand in my bank account. This could be real risky.
Some people only have a quarter. Some people don't even have a bank account.
This is risky to be borrowing $115,000. But what people don't understand is, if you know how to do the deal, which you do because you already ran the numbers for it, you're going to make, what you're making.
Yeah, the profit's already in there.
You cannot be scared to borrow money like that. See, people will be, all debt's bad. Not all debt's bad. If you use debt to make money, that's not bad. That's not bad debt. If you go $115,000 in debt, but in a few months you're able to fix up a house and sell it, and you make $180,000, you pay back all your debt, and you're sitting with a profit of 40, 50 grand when you started with nothing, might I add. That is another concept that I've just come around recently to more understanding, and I want to kind of get more experience with. And it's another concept that might confuse people listening, but it's a very simple concept of, you're just making money with other people's money.
OPM. So let me get to, so borrow money. Let me go back to that real quick. The most I've paid for money, I think was right around, I paid 18%. Okay, that's up there. 18%.
That is
But
up
guess
there.
what? I also had to pay 5 points.
What does that mean?
Points? That's it, that even ups the interest rate. So if you're borrowing $100,000, for instance, that's 5% with that. So it'd be an extra $5,000 on the back of the loan. But you calculate if you know what you're paying, you calculate it into the formula. It doesn't matter.
Yeah, it doesn't matter.
It doesn't matter because it's already calculated. Your profit's already in there. You know what you're making. And it doesn't matter.
With this money that you're getting from Rob the mortgage guy or something like that, or because with his real estate investment loans, now you have the money, you're just able to buy the house. So when you say you bought a house using a credit card, that's more what you're referring to, correct?
Oh yeah, like
that's what you kind of mean by that.
Well, I bought them at the tax sales with credit cards. So you could go, if you want to own a house in the war zone, you want to go down to Crozier Street, Laird Land down there, and you go to the tax sale and it's 12 grand. A lot of times you call up your credit card and say, hey, my limit's only 5, man. Could you raise it up to 10 or 15? And by the way, send me a check with that. They'll do that. They'll send you a check. That's how I've done it. I've done a lot of them like that.
So now you got a good mindset. You got all the leads. You put these leads through the formula. You figured out it's a good deal. And now you take, so now you figured out it's a good deal. Now you've borrowed the money, and now you've been able to basically find the house, deal with the guy. You've borrowed the money. You're able to buy the house now. So now you own the house. You ran the numbers. You know this is a good fix and flip. But it's only a good fix and flip if you get the work done. So now let's kind of get into, now you own the house.
It's time to get the work done on the fix and flip.
Now it's time to get the work done.
Yeah, this is where a lot of people with that contingency factor, will come into play. But you have to know, the orders in which to do things. For instance, the house that we just bought, I walked into it the other day, went down the basement, and temperature got up there. I think it was like 65 the other day. And guess what happened?
What happened?
It woke up the fleas in the house because the house that we bought had those, I don't know how many cats. There was a lot of cats. We went over that one in the other episode, how it smelled.
Yeah.
But, what goes along with the pet odor is fleas. I cannot stand fleas. I'm telling you, when I had a dog, I've given my dog fleas so many times by going into these houses. I know it sounds crazy. I'm telling you, I've had to strip down my clothes before in the hood by walking into these houses, looking around. I look down, I'm like, what's crawling on me?
Oh, do we got good flea guys?
Yeah, listen, we do have a good
we got good flea guys.
We do have a good flea guy, man. We got a relentless pest control. My buddy Steve Williams, Springfield guy. Liz, I love calling him. I'm like, oh, these things are crawling on me. I need you in here. So he'll go in there and he'll treat it, and then you can actually get in there. Your contractors love it because they don't like it either when there's fleas jumping on you, bed bugs, you name it. Well, if you're going to do a fix and flip and you don't have to get a hold of Steve, you're probably paying too much.
Yeah, it's too easy of a fix and flip.
It's too easy. You want these bugs to be able to jump on you. I mean, it sounds a little crazy, but that's why nobody wants to go in this house and buy it. These people can't even sell the thing because the owner doesn't even want to go in it.
Yeah.
So we're buying a $180,000 house for $50,000 because the homeowner doesn't want to go into it. I mean, it's a no-brainer.
Yeah. But it's hard, and that's the thing. People that don't want to do things that are difficult aren't going to be able to achieve this.
Yeah.
But we just ran the numbers. I can tell you, we can make $63,000 off of it.
$63,000 on one fix and flip.
Yeah,
and that's a huge fix and flip, and it took a long time to get to.
Yeah, it was
9
hard.
months working that deal.
$63,000, just like that.
And
in one deal, we made a lot of people's salaries.
And listen, what's cool about it is we just bought it. And it took that long, and it's going correlating with our our JJ boys.
Yeah, it's going with the podcast.
Yeah, so
that we got going
you guys are going to be stepped through.
We kind of got away from it, but I'll go with going with the ticks, the fleas, all this stuff. I want to transition that into what are the stuff you have to do to the house to make sure the bank likes it. So people buying it, if you're dealing with these single family homes, all this stuff, first time home buyers, they're going to want to, they have to get a mortgage. And to get a mortgage, you got to be able to go to the bank. There's certain things that you have to make sure will pass for the bank. And I want you to kind of go through that.
So that's kind of like bringing stuff up to an FHA standard of a house. That's extremely important. And, you work with your realtor, and Billy Denholm, he already knows, hey, we're going to have to do this. We're going to have to do this. That is getting the electric. I always get my electrician in there. I tell him to go through the whole thing, look, does it need GFIs in the bathrooms? Does it need this? This one that we just bought, the box is rusty. You don't want a rusty box.
Yeah, and that's something when you're in your rehab costs that you're gonna fix. You have to fix it.
Yeah, you have to fix it.
And it's not like an optional thing. That's not something that pushes the value of the house up. It's something you need to do so people are able to buy it. People that want to live in it need to be able to get a mortgage.
Yes.
So these are stuff you need to fix so they can get that mortgage.
Yes. So when they go to get that loan to buy your place, they're going to get it appraised. They're going to bring in their own people. They're going to check the furnace. They're going to check the hot water tank. There's lots of stuff on the hot water tank, like the one that you just closed on for your first deal. That was a VA loan. Yeah. So the VA, they have their own list also. And a lot of times it's even, more so.
Yeah.
So they got us on, we had a little bit of chipping paint on the outside. Like anywhere where there's chipping paint, if you're going to do a fix and flip, you cannot have chipping paint anywhere.
I want you to go through some of the stuff the bank, for a fact is going to look like stuff they've got you on before.
Yes. Chipping paint is a big one. If you see basement floors that are painted, I hate those. If you have a basement floor and your basement's just used for a basement, it's not finished, do not paint the floor. Trust me. Because if you go to sell that thing, there's going to be chips in that floor. I hate painted floors. So you're going to have to repaint those or cover them up with something. The outside, anywhere where there's chipping paint, you got to fix it. The windows, they all have to move up and down properly. You have to have screens in them. You have to have a drip leg. That's one of the things they nailed you on. You know what a drip leg is?
What's a drip leg?
What do you think a drip leg is? You guys out there, you probably know what a drip leg is. Hint: it goes on a hot water tank.
I'm not.
Oh, you don't know what a drip? Okay,
sure.
So the drip leg is this pipe that goes. It's kind of like a relief thing. Water can go through it, and it has to go down to the basement floor, and then like if pressure water does go through it, it'll make it to the floor. So a lot of these hot water tanks are missing a drip leg. So it's a really, really simple fix.
Yeah.
You just, they sell them at Home Depot. So a drip leg, smoke detectors are huge. Handrails, any steps, 2 or more steps, you better have a handrail there. Windows that are cracked or, the seals busted. You want to fix those. And there's lots of window places out there now that you just take the window there, or they'll even come out to you and fix it. Yeah, those are the nuts and bolts of, doing the fix and flip. You want to bring it up to an FHA standard of a house. And like I said, your realtor will definitely, if you're new to this, your realtor will definitely be able to help you out with that.
And build
if they can't help you out with that, you need to call a different realtor.
Yeah, and Bill, what we know, because we've used Bill Denholm before in the past, I would strongly recommend him. He knows a lot of this stuff. He's a good one to go to.
Oh yeah. Billy Denholm, like, say for instance, I just got a rehab and I'm like, Bill, I'm actually leaving town. I got to do this. I could tell him, hey, this is what he could step right in.
Yeah.
He could be the general contractor. Of course I'm going to pay the guy for doing it, but hey, he could sit there and handle the rehab himself.
So now all these features we went over, this is stuff, if you have like a priority list on a house, this is stuff that you have to do because this is what you need to do for it to be able to sell.
Yeah, usually like with the roofs, this is like Eric Snyder, he does a lot of our property inspections. Like if I don't, if I have, some questions on certain stuff or like, for instance, the one we just closed. So the VA loan wanted a termite report. So what I do, I call my buddy Eric up, and he came out and did a termite report. I didn't do anything. He went out there and he sent me an invoice. I was cheap. I think it was like $125 or something. Got it over to the bank.
And he does other inspections.
Yeah. He'll come in and he'll inspect the roofs. He'll check out your basements. Oh yeah, for a property inspection report, he's the guy to call. Yeah. So and then those are actually good to get done because after you do a lot of these, sometimes you'll be hurrying through it or so. You don't want to get tied up into that. You want to get second eyes on stuff, and I love using him.
Yeah. And so, all right. So now we've gone over a lot of the stuff that you need. Let's go over what have been dubbed the sizzle features.
Okay, the sizzle features. What sells the house?
And when we say sizzle features, what sells the house, it's not what you need, but it's it's the stuff that'll drive the price up. It's the stuff that people look for when they're buying a house.
Who was that, Dave?
Yeah, I think we got Dave Jackson.
All right, we got Dave Jackson coming in the house here. But yeah, the sizzle features, these are important. I think we hit a little bit of the sizzle features.
We've talked about a few, but let's just go over all of them right now so people have them.
So I always like, kitchens and baths. Like I said before, and like with the sink, I'll go with, kind of a medium grade sink. But when it comes to the faucet,
you gotta have
blowing it out, man.
You gotta have the greatest faucet of all time.
It's gotta look cool as could be. It's now they have the ones you just wave by it and it comes on. You get heat, cool. I mean, you need an extremely, extremely cool faucet, and that goes for like in the bathrooms too. The showers. If I could put
not the shower heads.
Yeah, well, yeah. Let's talk about the shower heads. So you want an extremely cool shower head. You want something that will just, how many different modes do you have on there?
Why do you need an extremely good shower head?
Listen, son, you're all right, boy. You're not 18 yet, so let's not go into that. All right, but
What are some other sizzle features though?
sizzle
going with
features, shower heads in the bathrooms. If you could get jets, skylights
Yeah.
are good. Anything. Those are the ones I like to focus on the most. If there's room, like it depends if it's a lower grade, area or something where you're probably going to have a hard time retailing it. A lot of times I like to drop in these cheap hot tubs outside.
Yeah, good like little hot tubs.
Oh
that
yeah,
people can-
in those areas there, I've sold so many houses by dropping in, a little 4-person hot tub. You just pour a little pad there, while your electrician's over there, tell him where you want to put it. He'll put the connections there. And then when you go to show the house, that hot tub's cooking,
Yeah.
So they're like looking, they're like, oh, is that a hot tub? Yeah, that is a hot tub. Go ahead and lift the top up. Guess what happens? They lift that top up. Oh, the steam comes out of there. They're like, oh my gosh, I cannot believe this place has a hot tub.
Yeah, so you want you want that good looking kitchen. The floors, you can get cheap floors that look pretty good. You can get all the other features, make sure the house is going to sell, through the bank. You said shower head.
Yeah, shower heads are important. The
like little
faucets.
hot tub. Then another big thing is landscaping. You want the land if you can get the landscape, and that stuff really is not very expensive either.
The most expensive part is I love tearing stuff out. I mean, like the one that your first deal. We pulled up to that house. It looked like Jurassic Park.
Oh, it is. The back part of it, it looked like, imagine like Welcome to the Jungle by like Guns N' Roses starts playing. And you couldn't even, you open up the gate, you can't walk in there.
Yeah, you couldn't even walk in.
It was insane.
It was so overgrown. The front was so overgrown.
But you get all that trimmed up. You trim out the bushes. You take all like the branches and stuff out of there. It looks almost completely brand new. Almost you could describe it.
I actually drove by it a couple times.
You didn't realize that.
Oh man,
yeah.
I love it when that curb appeal. When you go up to a house and that curb appeal is so horrible.
Like power washing. That's another good thing.
You got to power wash.
You just power wash it, get all that good landscaping, get a nice looking kitchen down, fresh coats of paint, the floors, the good faucets.
The smell, it's got to smell fresh.
Yeah, got to smell really good. The hot tub out there, it looks really nice. You walk through it and it gives you that nice, good feeling. And it has all the stuff it needs for it to sell through a bank. That is the stuff that'll drive that market value up. That is the stuff that'll make people be like, oh, I really like this because it has this aspect. So let's keep the price going up. Like they'll want to offer more money than anybody else going out for it. And that is what we talk about when we mean sizzle features. That is what we're looking for.
Yeah, sizzle features, stuff that, people normally wouldn't buy themselves to put in it. That's kind of.
And I think this is good once again for me to restate about. Guess what? None of this money is coming out of your pocket.
Yeah, it's already factored in.
Yeah, well, it's all borrowed money. You borrowed all this money and you're able to do all this stuff to the house. You're able to buy it, do all this stuff to it, and then sell it. It's all factored into the equation either. So still how you're going to pay all that money back, and what you're making already. This is us just going through how you do it. So now you got this house, you got it through the lead, put it through the formula, did the comps, you bought it. Now, guess what?
Fixed it.
It's looking pretty nice now. You fixed it all up. So now it's time to sell it. Let's go through this process.
We want to sell it, man. We want to price it to sell it. That's one of the big problems. People overprice houses. I like to have it, even though that thing is the best looking house, and usually it is the best looking house on the market. I'm right there in that zone. I may not be the highest, but I'm down there because, for instance, the one that your first deal, we got a $10,000 offer over our asking price.
Yeah, that's just like,
hallelujah. Oh, that's great.
That's funny. So we got that. We got the JJ boys telepathic connection or something.
Right? Yeah, that was scary. All right, so Yeah, you want to list it right in that zone to where you know that the thing will sell. And once again, that goes back to the formula. You don't want to like
Yeah.
overprice it.
Well,
And another thing is, in 6 months' time, there's a lot of
market could
different
be
things
different.
that could happen.
And
yeah.
so let's say the market. So this is one of the bad aspects where you could lose money or not make that 30%. Is let's say the market tanks.
Well, within 6 months, I mean, look, it could happen.
Yeah,
it
maybe
could
not
happen.
tanks, but it goes down.
Well,
and then you're making 15% or 20%.
Yeah, I mean, just as long as you're making money, it's still good. But if you're going to lose money, you may want to reevaluate what your exit strategy is. You may want to lease purchase it at that point. So,
and then there's
all kinds of different ways.
We'll get into the different topics because even no matter what market value or no matter what the market is, there's always a way to make money. Always.
Oh yeah, always.
But so now let's go through selling real estate agent.
All right, yeah,
yes or no?
yeah. Me personally, I'm for real estate agent.
Yes, and I definitely agree with that because when you're selling it, they listed on the MLS, Zillow, all that stuff. They have the ability to expand it to everybody that's looking for a house. If you're looking, your family trying to buy a house, you're gonna get a realtor, and guess what? The realtors know realtors. That's how that kind of works. So, with this, another good one for Build Down Home.
Oh yeah. This is the key. I guess we're getting at. You need to find a good realtor that you can work with.
You need a really good realtor.
Yeah.
And if you got a lot of deals going, like you're big time, you may need multiple. But
Yeah.
we're probably dealing with like you guys. You're just trying to get started, get into it. You're not probably doing 10 or 15 of them at like in a month, like all at the same time. So you got one that's really good, and that's why we keep using the name Bill Denholm because he's really good at all this stuff. He's been doing it for forever, and so you fix this house all up. Now you're looking to sell it. You go to your realtor, and you're just like, here, put it out there, and then guess what? That's how you get that 10 grand over because he has it on a platform where all these people are making offers on it.
And a lot of times you could put. I've done this before. Like right now, the market's pretty hot to sell. It's a seller's market.
Yeah, still.
They're harder to find. Yeah. But if the market cools off, a lot of times I'll put, I'm like, Bill, man, what can we do? We need to get this thing sold. We'll put incentives in there. Hey, if you bring an offer, if another realtor brings an offer in the first 30 days or 2 weeks, we'll put $1,000 bonus in there to the realtor that brings the buyer.
And that's okay. We don't put that in our formula initially, but it like when you're talking about the tripping over the dimes to get to the dollars. If you're making 60 grand, it's okay if you put an extra 5 grand towards the realtors because now you're making. Oh no, I'm only making 45, not 50. But the thing is, we got the deal done.
But yeah, you're also looking at your holding costs are going to go down.
The holding costs go down.
They're going to go down if you sell it fast.
Yeah, really, it ends up kind of equaling itself out.
So yeah, you don't want to worry about that. One time I'm like, Bill, I need to sell this house fast. I'm like, put a $5,000 bonus in there, and I need to sell it. And it's so funny, like. These realtors will steer their customers to this house because there is a bonus.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's
because when it comes down to it, I mean, they need to make a living. That's what they do for their living. So they're trying to make money.
So that's another way. You could put incentives on there. Another way is you could offer, if you really want to sell it fast or a certain area, you could offer terms on there. Hey, I'll carry a $20,000 second mortgage, or I'll pay your closing costs. That's a big one too.
Yeah.
Hey, I'll pay all the closing costs.
And all this stuff.
FHA loans, they allow you to contribute. I believe now it's 3% to. They allow you to contribute that. So a lot of times I'll be able to get in for hardly any money.
Yeah, now. And let's say like you're learning all that. Like you're listening, you were trying to learn, you want to get into it. But let's say it's not what you can do all the time. You only do it part-time, but you still have free time where you're not doing anything, but you want to try and learn. Look this stuff up. If you have knowledge of this stuff, and you're able to use it to negotiate, because like the 3% thing. I have no idea what that means, but you know that, and guess what? You're able to negotiate with people, and guess what? You're creating that win-win scenario that we talked about when finding deals, because you're like, well, the closing can get paid and all this stuff.
It does. That win-win deal, that goes towards selling it too. So if you could help somebody out by, paying, if the bank allows it, to pay some of their closing costs, and you already have that factored into your, and that's just a selling strategy, put it in there, because
So
not all sellers have that in there. So they're going to like, man, this is great.
Yeah, so
I'm actually going to have more money to buy some new furniture for my cool house.
Yeah, so you have knowledge of all this stuff. You're able to negotiate with the people you're selling it to. You got it on the market that's driving the price up because you got your good realtor. And so once again, it's driving the price up, and you're able to negotiate with them because you have a knowledge of this stuff. It's just, that is how, when we at the end of the tail end of the deal, you're selling the house. This is the stuff. This is everything we focus on are all equally important steps. You need to be able to master it all.
Yeah, Matt, you got to become a master at it, and that's the only way you're going to get it is to keep doing it.
Yeah.
I want you to be a master by the time you're 18.
Yeah,
so
that's what my goal is.
You got 2 years apprenticeship right here. And
this is huge.
When you're 18, I wouldn't mind. Let's see, how old am I going to be? Yeah, I'm going to be up there a little bit. So I wouldn't mind just jumping on my Harley and be like, son, did you close the deal today?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So now, is that kind of all we want to talk about with selling?
Yeah, that's mainly, the selling, that's it. You just want to have a good realtor. You want to price it right because you don't want to price it out of the market. And if you can, you don't really have to now because it's such a hot market, but it could change quick. And if it does, you want to have incentives in there. I'll pay your 3% closing costs, bonuses to the selling realtor. That's always a huge one. I like throwing those in even in a hot market. I do. We didn't do it on yours, but I think I'm going to do it on this one coming up.
Yeah.
And then I know, and then every time these realtors know or they see a property of ours coming up, they're like, oh man, this guy gives a bonus, and it goes straight to them. So whoever sells it, it goes straight to them.
Yeah. And so now if we're kind of going to move off of selling. I'm going to say the thing. Ding, ding, ding. You got a check.
Yeah, listen.
Look at that.
Yeah, you got once it's under contract, and then it goes to the title company, and they call you up for closing. They'll do their inspections, and if the rehab is on point,
which it should be. We kind of told you.
They won't come back with a lot of things you have to do, but just get ready for things you got to do.
And that's kind
just like. For instance, that drip leg, it's simple. We have some
and that's
chipping
another
paint
miscellaneous. That'd be under that contingency.
Yeah. So just get ready for a little bit of things here and there, and the chipping paint. That was mainly I knew that it was up there, but it's hard to paint on the outside when it's 10 degrees out. So
yeah,
that's tough.
But just like that, you take it to the title company. They go through the closing. If you have to fix some simple stuff up, you fix it up. Then just like that, you sold the house. Then you can go pick up and go pick up a check.
Go pick up your check. Hit National Bank. Listen, I'd like to. Yeah, all right, Matt. All right. So when we say pick up a check, flash his check. That last one right on it.
A little check action.
That was impressive. I everywhere I go at, people are asking me.
So now
about that.
Yeah, so just right there, we just took you guys through a fix and flip. That, I know a lot of this stuff was a little complicated. You might not understand it all. And if you don't understand it all, maybe rewatch the podcast again. Look up some of the stuff, concepts we talked about. Do your own research. Read books. Expand your knowledge for more than just us. If you really want to get into this, this should be your main motivation. Do as much research as possible. Learn as much as possible. And all the names that we talked about, who did we all talk about? Bill Denholm, the big real estate guy.
Billy Denholm, he's our realtor. We got Rob, the mortgage guy. He'll hook you up with the fix and flip loans. We have Steve Williams. Man, I'm telling you guys, if you're going into a house and you don't have some kind of odor when you leave the house, or you don't have some fleas or something jumping on you, you're paying too much.
Yeah.
So, but you want to have Steve on a speed dial, because as soon as you go in there, it's like, oh my gosh, Steve, listen, please get in this house so I could, go in there and evaluate it.
Yeah. So we got all these people here, and
we got Eric. Yeah, Eric Snyder. Yep.
And Rob the mortgage guy.
Yeah, Rob the mortgage guy.
And so these guys are all real important parts of the process.
So they are your team.
Yeah. And we'll make sure, because these are good guys. We've used them. They are good. We would recommend them, especially for the people getting started. I don't know how we'll do it, if we'll put it in the description or on the screen somewhere here. We'll put how you can either get in contact with them, their website. They have that.
This is going to be like a cheat code for people. Yeah. I mean, I wish somebody, if I didn't have to train a realtor or, like Billy.
We're basically
dealing with him we still butt heads every once in a while.
We're giving you guys right now. We're giving you guys a cheat sheet, really, to go off of. I'd strongly recommend to use it, and we'll find a way. We'll put it in the description on the screen, something like that. You'll be able to use them once you start getting started.
Yeah, something else I'd like probably for Matt to get up on the screen. I'd like to show our formula. Because when we went through that, we
talked about it earlier.
But it did get a little confusing.
We'll find a way. It'll get a little confusing. I mean, of course, watch it again. Hopefully, we can make this pretty good. So now I'll just give a little recap of what we've gone over everything so far. We got you guys motivated. We got you guys in the right mindset. Finding deals. You got, all the good marketing strategies to get leads.
Your phones are ringing to get leads. Yes.
And you know that you need to be dealing with the motivated people. You're motivated to learn. You're motivated to get experience. You're motivated to make money, get out of the rat race. And now you found all these deals because you went through with all this cool new marketing tech. And now you got all these leads. Now you got 20 leads sitting on your table. You put all 20 of them through the fix and flip formula. You got 3 really good ones, or we'll just keep it with 1 right now. Keep it simple. Or you got 1 that you think's the best one. You go to them, you make an offer, and you're borrowing money from, of course, Rob or a different lender, or any. Maybe you want to work with the banks, a little safer.
When you get to that point, you'll understand. Listen, guys, if you can't make money with no money, you're not going to make money with money.
Yeah,
I tell a lot of people that.
And that's another concept that's crazy to some people.
It is. They're like, you could do this because you got money to start with. I'm like, no, dude, listen. If you can't make money with no money, you're not going to make money with money.
Yeah, and once you get money, your money growth should just be exponential, really. Like, think about Donald Trump. He gets $1 million loan from his father, but then he's able to convert it into hundreds of millions. Now, we're talking, that's big, a lot of zeros there. But, all right.
Listen, son, I like,
Yeah. But back to you got your best deal, put it through the formula, you borrowed the money, you buy it, everything you need to do to get it to pass through the bank. So you hire, you hired your people.
Yeah, your contractors.
You hire your contractors to be able, they know what they have to get done. They can get it done. Then they know the sizzle features to get it to sell, kind of the cheat code for that, the hot tub, good landscaping, the shower head. No, still not sure why.
You're right.
Then you got what else do we say? Good faucet.
Yeah.
Nice little kitchen.
Good curb appeal, man. You want to drive up to the house.
Good curb appeal.
I want that house.
So
now, your neighbors are going to be like, thank you for fixing up this, crap hole of a house that has been sitting here next to me forever. Yeah. And all these stupid fleas are going over to my house.
It's funny because I'm kind of getting off topic. I've actually seen that, even with that first deal, because those people, I mean, they all kind of knew that dude that lived in there, and they kind of looked over the house for him while
they love it.
They loved it once that smell went away. The landscape, they loved it.
Yeah.
They were so happy that we did that, and it's cool because it gives you that aspect of, I'm doing not just stuff for myself, but I'm doing it for the community. Really, you're fixing up. You're making their neighborhood better. So that's a great aspect of it, and that's just something that makes you happy in the end. It makes you feel good.
And then in return, you make a check.
Yeah, and so now you're ready. After doing all that, you're ready to sell the house. You got your amazing realtor to put it out there. Different negotiating strategies, and you're able to sell it. And then guess what? You got a check.
And guess what then? I want to do another one.
And then
start plugging them into the formula because you already have your leads coming in from your marketing, getting leads, and then you just keep doing them over and over again. And it depends how big you want to get. You could do multiple ones. I used to do, it sounds nuts, but I would close 5 to 15 a month.
Yeah,
before
I
I had to make, it was ridiculous. I don't even want to go into it. It was so much.
But that's kind of all we wanted to talk about for this episode. That is the Fix and Flip podcast, JJ Boys podcast episode right there.
That's it. And this was getting into some stuff, but the next ones are coming up. They're going to be good.
All right.
We're going to get into some, if it doesn't fit this Fix and Flip category, but there's still deals there.
Yeah, there's still deals. There's always ways to make money in any market. Always. If a Fix and Flip isn't the best, you can go to something else.
All right, guys.
Well,
what we say?
We'll see you guys on the next episode of the podcast.
See you.